The following is a presentation of IMG, America's home for college sports. Live from Quaker Steak and Lube on US 1 in Edison, this is the Chris Ash Show, your chance to talk with the head coach of the Scarlet Knights on the Rutgers IMG Sports Network. Today's show is brought to you by To be a part of the show, give us a buzz on the Nissan call-in line at 877-384-1869. That's 877-384-1869. Now, let's go live to Quaker Steak and Lube in Edison to talk Rutgers football. Here's Chris Carlin.
After a week off, we are back here on Route 1 in Edison, New Jersey at Quaker Steak and Lube for this week's edition of the Chris Ash Show. We enter the final third of the Rutgers regular season on this Wednesday, November the 2nd, 2016. Thanks so much for joining us. Chris Carlin alongside Eric LeGrand. Eric, how are you, bud?
I'm doing great. How are you, Chris?
Outstanding as usual, and the head coach of the Scarlet Knights. With us as he always is, Chris Ash. Coach, how was the bye week?
It was great, much needed, but excited to get back out on the field and play another game.
All right, so first of all, health-wise, how much did it help your team to get the extra rest here from preparing for a football game?
We got some guys back from injury, so we've had a lot of guys playing through injury, and they've gotten healed up a little bit. We're not 100%. We're still missing some guys that we wish were out there, but we're a lot better off right now today than we were a week ago at this time.
And, Coach, how much rest do you guys, coach, as a coaching staff, get? Do you get much rest, or I know you guys on the road recruiting, doing a bunch of different things. How much rest do you get on a bye week?
Not much,
Not much.
Is there such a thing?
Not if you're doing it right. No, there's not. It's just it's for every coach. You know, the bye week, you're still going to practice, but you're really focused on recruiting. You get so many evaluation days to go out during the season, and during the bye week is when you usually use most of those, and you're on the road traveling if you're not at home practicing.
And during the bye week, it's also a good opportunity for the younger guys who are in the developmental stages to get some more reps, whereas maybe during the rest of the season that's harder to do considering the limited practice time.
Absolutely. We went into the bye week with certain objectives to try to accomplish, and one was to get healthy and rested for the last 4 games of the season. We wanted to be able to develop some younger players and have some developmental practices like you mentioned. We wanted to get a jump start on our next opponent with Indiana, get a little bit of work in. And we really wanted to do some self-evaluation because that's we do it every week, but it's difficult to really dive in and do a thorough self-evaluation during the normal week of preparation. So we do a lot of that during the bye week, and then obviously get out and recruit.
And talk about, Coach, a little bit how the players have to handle their academics and catching up on things like that during the bye week.
The way we laid out the schedule this week, we gave them some extra time off, where if our bye week maybe would have been earlier in the season, maybe not have been the case. So they were able to focus on academics and getting extra rehab and treatment and rest. After we played the game against Minnesota, we gave them Sunday and Monday off, and then we practiced Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and we gave them Friday, Saturday, Sunday off. So we gave them a couple of days at the beginning of the week and a couple days at the end of the week, and I think it paid off because we've had some good practices this week.
Well, we want you to be a part of the program tonight. Our Nissan call-in line is 877-384-1869, 877-384-1869. You can tweet us your questions at Rutgers Radio. That's at Rutgers Radio. And by all means, if you're here in attendance, come on up front. See our man Jimmy. We will get you on for your question for Coach Ash. I'm going to go to the phones here early tonight, Coach, because our buddy Charlie from Woodbridge is calling from Mexico.
Charlie. From Mexico today.
Don't want to run up the bill too much, Charlie.
No, it's okay. Greetings from Riviera Maya, Mexico.
Nice.
I have just 2 things. One, if you could preview Indiana for us. And the second thing, Rutgers had a triple-header high school football game last Saturday. Will we be doing more of that kind of stuff in the future?
I'll start with your second question here on the triple-header. I hope that we can do that moving forward. You know, our schedules obviously have to coincide with the high school schedules, and we've got to make sure there's some teams out there that have interest in doing that, which I think they would. We weren't at the games. We couldn't be at those games, but I heard it was a hit, and the players and coaches and everybody that were associated with those games had an outstanding experience, and hopefully that's something that we can continue to do moving forward, because it promotes not only our university and our football program, but just football in the state of New Jersey in general, and I think it's an outstanding thing for both parties involved to be able to do it. To your first question about previewing Indiana, Indiana's a good football team. It's a team that with Coach Wilson, they just continue to get better and better each year, especially here in the last 3 years. They've made some really steady progress. They have an explosive offense. They can run off of a game against Maryland where they ran for 414 yards. In the last probably 3 years, they've been one of the best rushing offenses in the nation. Right now, probably the most improved part of their football team is their defense. They've gone back to a 4-3 defense, and they're sound. They're playing hard. They're fundamentally well coached with their fundamentals, and they're playing more consistent. So that's probably an area that they've always been good on offense under Kevin, but they're playing a lot better defense right now.
Thank you very much.
All right, Charlie, travel home safe and enjoy down at Riviera Maya. That's not too bad being there right now.
Not at all.
That's for sure. All right, Coach, a couple of things on the last game, the tough loss out at Minnesota. Boy, your team played exceptionally well, found themselves in the hole early, came all the way back, took the lead late. Minnesota just at the end able to make a couple of more plays, and they end up winning on the field goal. How did you evaluate your football team when you went back and looked at all the tape and came out of that game?
Well, there were a lot of positives. Very proud of our guys to start to be able to go out to Minnesota. Minnesota's a good team. They're well coached, very similar to Indiana. Tracy Clays has done a nice job of taking the torch from Jerry Kill and moving that program forward. And they're well coached. They play hard. They're disciplined, and got a lot of respect for their program. But very proud of our players, our coaches, our whole organization to go out to Minnesota and put ourselves in position to have a chance to win that game at the end. Disappointed, though, in some of the plays that we continue to make or not make that shoot ourselves in the foot, that won't allow us to get over that hump and come out on the win side of a game on Saturday. But a lot of positives. We ran the ball better. We threw the ball better. There was a lot of energy from our offensive side of the ball. You take away the start of the game, I thought we played some very, very good stretches of defense throughout that game. We had some critical fourth down stops. We played well on third down defensively. We just dug ourselves a hole at the beginning of the game. We had too many turnovers in the game. And then it got to the end there, the last drive, when we were up. We just couldn't get the stop that we needed. We had a couple opportunities. It was 2nd and 9. They ran the ball. We misfit it. It could have been a chance to have them 3rd and 9 at midfield, and that could have changed the game. There were a couple opportunities there in that last drive. It's really coming down right now to the 4 or 5 plays a game that we're shooting ourselves in the foot. That we did that at Iowa. It happened in Illinois. It happened in Minnesota. We've got to play cleaner football consistently for 4 quarters and focus on the small details that make the difference in those games.
Yeah, Coach, I saw your energy on those 4th and 1 stops and running out on the field celebrating with the defense. It's nothing better than that. I want to talk a little bit about Damon Hayes, his progression so far as being such a young guy out there and be able to get a pick 6 in a game like that. Can you talk a little bit about his development coming along?
Yeah, I love Damon Hayes. I thought we were going to get a very good player when he signed on signing day. He just continues to work and keeps getting better. Through training camp, I thought he had a chance to be good. I just didn't know when it was going to show up, and he was going to be a really good, productive player. We hit the stretch in the middle of the season. I kept seeing him get better and better and better, and he's gotten more reps and more opportunities out there. He's taking advantage of them, and he's playing a lot of football right now. He's one of the freshmen that we're giving a lot of action to. The other one is Tyreek Williams. Tyreek really came out of nowhere and has been thrust into action because of injuries and defections at the linebacker position. But he's come on strong and taken advantage of his opportunity and playing a very high level of football right now. He's not perfect, but a couple of games since the Ohio State game, he's had a lot of tackles, and he's in double digits for tackles in about every game he's played in. So I'm really excited about those 2 young players.
All right, we've got our first question from the audience here at Quaker Steak and Lube on Route 1 in Edison. Sir, what's your name? Where are you from?
Chad James, North Brunswick.
Good to see you again, Chad. How are you?
Good. I got a question about recruiting. I know I'm not going to ask you about any particular players, but it's a general question about recruiting. Every year you guys have a certain number of scholarships you want to offer, and you go through the year, and I'm sure you allocate certain numbers for certain position groups, defensive line, offensive line, whatever. So I'm curious, once you start getting commitments in, How do you balance that fact that say you have 3 commitments for running back, and that's what you wanted to get.
Yeah.
And then fall comes around, some of the players may choose to go to other schools, visit other schools. Do you still view them as being committed when they see other schools? And how do you balance that, knowing that if they do decommit, you still have to fill those roster spots? How do you, it's a delicate balance. I'm just curious how you do it.
Yeah, there are a lot of factors that are involved with the scenarios that you just mentioned. We have 25 scholarship players that we can take each year. That's the NCAA limit. And in those 25, we identify what our needs are at each position. One year it may be 2 offensive linemen, another year it may be 5. So it's different from year to year based on what you have in your program. When you get kids that are committed and they make a decision that they want to look elsewhere, they're not committed then. You need to continue to recruit for that scholarship for that position. That's just the nature of the beast. That's the business that we're in. But in this day and age, honestly, none of them are committed until they sign on February, on signing day. That's just the way it is. But I think we have an outstanding group of young men that are committed to us, that are extremely solid. They committed to us for the right reasons. They're in-state players that want to see Rutgers and the state of New Jersey have big-time Big Ten football here, and I feel really good about them. But are we going to keep them all? No. There's not a program in America that goes through the recruiting cycle and keeps every single kid committed that's been committed to some time period, and that's just part of it.
Okay, thanks.
Yep.
All right, Chad, good seeing you. Let's hit the phones once again. Our Nissan call-in line, 877-384-1869. Anthony, he is up in Ridgewood, and he is on the Chris Ash Show. Anthony, how are you, bud?
Good, man. How are you guys?
Good.
Excellent. Coach S, thank you for taking the call.
No, thank you.
I'm just wondering, how's the coaching staff doing with the progression of Ty Odom and getting him ready to play? Thank you.
Well, the coaching staff is doing well. I mean, we're working with Tylen every single day. Tylen is not game ready to go out and be the full-time starter and take every snap. Right now, I think we've clearly identified Gio as that guy that will be leading our offense from this last game forward. If Tylen continues to progress and develop and the situations in a game afford us the opportunity to get him in, then we'll do that. We'd love to be able to get him in every game down the stretch. I don't know if that will happen. There's a lot that will go into that. But Tylen continues to improve on a lot of areas, but there are still a lot of areas he has to improve on for us to feel good about putting him out there and giving ourselves an opportunity to win. But right now, Gio is our focus to lead our offense. It's not just Tylen. Several other quarterbacks continue to try to be developed. So if something happens to Gio, someone else can go in and lead the group.
And, Coach, I wanted to go back to the recruiting question. When it comes to early enrollees, how much do you focus on that and try to work that out with the guys, trying to get them in there early so they have an extra semester going into their freshman year?
Obviously that's kind of the new craze that you could say in recruiting to be an early enrollee. And if we can get guys that want to enroll early and they can handle it, we'd love to have them. That extra semester really could go 5.5 years if they redshirted. But to get that extra semester, if they're an individual that you are going to potentially count on to play for you in that first year, that extra semester is critical. But it's all situational. Not everybody can handle it. If somebody is involved in a spring sport and they're an exceptional athlete, like a track athlete, or even a basketball player, and they want to go and they want to be able to participate in that sport in their senior year, we're going to let them. We're not going to force anybody to do it. But if we think that somebody can come in and help us and has a chance to start maybe as a freshman, we'll have that conversation. Some schools won't even let them do it. So that's a factor also. But we're all for the mid-year enrollees if it's what's best for the individual and the family and the school allows them to do it. But we're not going to be a school that goes out and recruits and says, hey, you need to do this or we're not going to take you.
Yeah. We got another question from a young man here in attendance. Sir, what's your name? Where are you from?
AJ, I'm from Milltown.
All right, AJ.
Do you think any of your players will make it to the NFL?
Absolutely. I couldn't sit here today and tell you which ones, but whether it be some of our seniors, I hope that they have an opportunity to go on to the next level, and I hope there's several of our underclassmen that can be developed into potential NFL players too. But, we have some players in our program that are currently getting looked at by the NFL, and we have some younger players that I think that will be developed to potential NFL guys too.
All right.
Cool.
Good question.
Good job, AJ. Very good job. Want to get one or two more here in before we take a timeout. We're going to talk to Pat Hobbs here in just a few minutes as well. Big day yesterday with the groundbreaking ceremony, but another young man has stepped up and has another question, Coach.
How many recruits do you get a year?
We get 25 a year. That's if you have that many scholarships available. The NCAA limits what you can bring in. The max is 25, but sometimes you don't have 25 scholarships available. It might only be 21, 22, could be 17, 18. So it changes each year, but 25 is the max.
Okay.
Did you want to commit right now?
No, but I'm a Michigan fan.
I walked into that one. Wow.
Jimmy, what are you doing over there?
Oh.
You were getting busy.
Wow. Somebody escort that young man out. Coach, we should talk about Gio a little bit because, he came out and really looked like he handled everything exceptionally well, had a couple of turnovers, but 3 touchdowns, 220 yards in his first start. When you looked at everything combined overall, how did you evaluate him in his first start?
Very pleased with Gio. You mentioned the turnovers. We have to cut those down. We've had 8 in the last 2 games. And we're not going to win football games doing that. But when you look at what Gio did, the way he went out and just played with poise, made great decisions for the most part, was able to move the chains and move the ball with his arm. He did it with his feet. Did a nice job of getting us in and out of certain plays. Made some really good decisions in critical situations also. And for the first game, very pleased with that.
I mean, that's the thing. It struck out to me and Ray, Eric. I think we talked about this a little bit too. When you have all that time sometimes to think about your first start, maybe you get out there, you're feeling the butterflies a little bit. It did not look from the first snap like the moment was ever too big for him at all.
No, that was what I was probably the most impressed. I was impressed by 2 things. One, because like you mentioned, you go in at a halftime of another game, it's like, hey, I'm just going out here to play, But when you do have the whole week of preparation, you're going to be the guy. You have a lot of time to think about it, and you kind of get nervous, and he didn't have any of that. And the other thing I loved about him is his competitive spirit. He hurt his hamstring in that game, and he did not want to come out. There were some times he was laying on the turf, and it looked like he was going to tap out, and we're going to have to bring him out. He got right back up and went back and played again, and that competitive spirit really showed up on game day.
And that's what I was actually going to ask you, Coach, seeing the toughness, because a lot of stuff we can describe him as the poise, going out there and not fearing anything, but the toughness of being able to get back up off that turf. And how is that having a conversation on the sideline saying, like, are you ready? Can you go? What is that like?
It was actually there really weren't any conversations. I was ready to say, hey, we got to get someone else in there a couple times. He got up. He came off the sideline. I didn't really ask him one time, hey, are you okay? He actually told me I'm fine, without me even asking anything. So
that's nice.
Didn't say much about it, but his toughness did show up. His competitive spirit showed up. His poise showed up, and really excited about hopefully seeing him continue to build on that and get better and better as we go forward.
All right, we'll take our first time out. In just a moment, we will be joined by Rutgers Athletic Director Pat Hobbs, a day after the groundbreaking for the RWJ Barnabas Health Center Athletic Performance Complex. Very exciting for that to take place yesterday. We'll talk about that in just a moment. You're listening to The Chris Ash Show.
Need a place to watch all the pro games? Look no further than Quaker Steak and Lube, Best Wings USA on Route 1 in Edison. 50 TVs, great game day specials starting at just $2, and the best wings in the USA with over 25 different wing sauces. Enjoy our outdoor patio and bar that's open all year round, even in the winter. Give us a call, 732-777-WING. We cater events of any size, dining in or to go. Quaker Steak and Lube, 561 Route 1 in Edison, 732-777-WING.
Hi, Scarlet Knight fans. Chris Carlin here for UPS. Your customers want more from your business, and you've got to make more happen, whether they're in New Brunswick or on the other side of the world. Globally or locally, UPS is building solutions to help businesses like Rutgers' own Profound Aesthetic give their customers exactly what they want. More fashion, art, stories made easy. Congratulations to the UPS Business of the Game. Profound Aesthetic, a proud partner in problem solving. UPS, official logistics company of Rutgers Athletics.
The Chris Ash Show returns after this local timeout. This is the Rutgers IMG Sports Network.
Introducing the Rutgers Fan Exchange, powered by Tick City. Can't make it to a game and don't know what to do with your tickets? Looking for the best deals on the biggest games? Buy and sell tickets for all Rutgers home games through the Rutgers Fan Exchange, the only place to find seats from within the trusted Rutgers community. And you control the price. Every order helps support Rutgers athletics. Visit the Rutgers Fan Exchange at rutgersfanexchange.com.
Looking for a place to watch all the Rutgers football action? Enjoy the games with fellow Scarlet Knights fans at these Rutgers Athletics official watch party locations: Hoboken's Cadillac Cantina, Tom's Rivers Baker's Water Street Bar and Grill, Freehold's Moore's Tavern and Sports Bar, Monroe Township's Baker's American Bar and Grill, and Quaker Steak and Lube's 3 locations in Edison, Brick, and Phillipsburg. For more information on the official watch party locations, please visit scarletknights.com.
Welcome back to the Chris Ash Show. Got a question for Coach? Dial us up on the Nissan call-in line at 877-384-1869. That's 877-384-1869. Nissan, proud partner of college athletics. Shop ChooseNissan.com. Innovation that excites.
We continue with the Chris Ash Show from Quaker Steak and Lube on Route 1 in Edison, New Jersey. Rutgers getting ready for Indiana this coming Saturday, and big day yesterday on the banks right next to the rack. The groundbreaking on the RWJ Barnabas Health Athletic Performance Center at Rutgers University, and the athletic director, Pat Hobbs, has been good enough to come by for a few minutes, and that was just great to see. You know, you got to see some of the pictures out there, and so many times there, you know, you've been talking so much about how important it is, but there's a shovel in the ground now. That had to be great for you.
No question. I mean, you want to get to that moment where you're out there on the property, and it was 29 degrees, so I was a little worried that the ground was going to be a little bit stiff yesterday. But it was a great day. We got there. A lot of excitement around building a building for Rutgers athletics, long overdue. And as I said to folks yesterday, this is just the beginning.
Hey, Pat, I know a lot of other people are interested in this, but I am too. Take us to the day of Pat Hobbs. What goes? It'll start off in the morning, afternoon, and by the time your evening ends at night. Take us through a whole day of what goes on.
Oh, Big E, I don't know if I could take you through a whole day. That'll take a long time. I typically wake up very early in the morning, and I'm thinking RU as soon as I wake up. Yesterday, I just wanted to make sure, pinch myself. We are actually going to go down there and do this groundbreaking. I was excited about getting down to school, seeing the setup, making sure we were all set to go. And then there's just the excitement of that day yesterday. So yesterday was a unique day because that's a day where you sort of take a moment to take in the success, to thank a lot of people. That was really the important part of yesterday. We talked on day one how important facilities were going to be to our success as we went forward, and the way the Rutgers faithful responded, the way folks in the legislature responded. So yesterday was really a day to try not to forget to thank anybody. You wanted to sort of get around and thank people, and then get back in the afternoon to thinking, okay, the work continues. Let's keep going.
And still a big part of this is Rutgers Big Ten build continues. Is got to continue to raise money, got to continue to work toward getting this done, and you've got some very specific targets around this.
No, there's no question. We've got to continue to raise money. I think people now know, hey, it's real. This is what we're going to do. I think that's one of the symbolic importances of a groundbreaking. It's also the importance of putting out specific date, right? People sort of said, wow, you're committing to opening this building July of 2019. Well, we have our architect, Perkins Eastman. They're doing a great job. They've laid out the schedule. It's a schedule that they believe works, and we'll get to construction documents. We get to the bid process. Next spring, we get into the ground. We're going to start doing some site work. So this is real. This is a go. And I think for the Rutgers fans and those who sort of they've seen some of these efforts before, they want to know it's real, because we've got to keep going. If we're going to provide our student athletes and our coaches the resources that they need to be competitive in the Big Ten, we got to build.
And as you talk about, keep on going. As said, you got to celebrate in the morning, but in the afternoon, you're thinking of the next thing. Can you talk a little bit about the next project, I guess, when it comes to lacrosse and soccer and getting them facilities also?
Well, soccer lacrosse complex is really important. You know, football and soccer and lacrosse are all squeezed into the Hale Center, and to provide football with the resources they need, and to provide soccer and lacrosse with the resources they need, we need to get that building done. And there's a lot of people really excited about that complex. Well, we're going to be out in the next few months talking to people who can make leadership gifts in support of that. And I'm optimistic. I really think that what we've done here on the multi-sport facility gives folks confidence that we can do the next building and then the next project, the next project. You know, that was why, one of the things that was so important in getting the weight room done. You know, Ron and Joanna Grudy made that contribution, and we got that done, and we got that open so people could walk in and see, yes, we're going to build these things. They're going to be first class. They're going to be at the top of the Big Ten in terms of what we're providing, and we need to just keep doing. That's the job of all of us in athletics right now.
And it's not just about being real for the fans and for the donors, but very much so for the recruits. And now you can go out, and it's not about what you're hoping, it's about what is happening for them.
Yeah, absolutely. And one of the things that I most enjoyed yesterday was looking at the faces of our current student athletes. They were standing around the back of the crowd, and you could just see the excitement on all of their faces. And that excitement they will also bring to the recruits when they come. And each day, each month, each couple of weeks, we're going to get more and more renderings from the inside of the building so people can see what's the wrestling practice room going to look like, what's the gymnastics room going to look like, what are our practice basketball courts going to look like. And then as the recruits arrive on campus and they see that steel coming out of the ground, they know that that's going to be there while they're on campus, and that's going to change recruiting, no question.
And that's why I wanted to ask you the behind-the-scenes stuff, Pat, and no one sees going into the designing of these buildings. How does that happen? How does that process go through? Picking out how do you want this to look and make sure it's top of the notch, top of the line.
Absolutely. So Perkins Eastman, terrific architects, and they bring the ideas to us. They'll put a number of renderings in front of us, sort of get the ideas. We bring that to the various coaches. We show that, how do you want to tweak this here? Because there's a lot of opportunity in the design phase to make this something that we know is going to be really appealing to recruits, but I want it to be appealing long term. I don't want, we have a unique opportunity in designing this building to create an image of Rutgers as we go forward, and it's going to be an image that's consistent with the world-class university that we have. So that's the fun part. The design part is the really fun part.
And, you've talked about the words all in an awful lot. And, it's so important for the fans who have been so supportive over the years. They understand what it takes. I'm just curious as to the response you've gotten from them and the ones that really now have some skin in the game, and what you would want those people to tell the ones who are considering it right now.
Yeah, and the response has been great. As I think I've said, I think you asked me once before, sort of what's the one thing that you don't have right now that you wish you had, and it would be more time. More time to get out to as many people, because people are excited about Rutgers. If we have 478,000 living alums. If I had the time to go sit with each one individually, I believe I could make the case of why supporting Rutgers athletics is supporting Rutgers University, is supporting success across our state. Senator Lesniak, yes, they talked about it being an economic engine. It is so many things. And so if I had the time to sit down individually with each person, I actually think I could convince everyone to make a contribution. Because I don't have the time to sit down with everyone, I'm hoping that they respond to, whether it's listening to us right now, whether it's reading the stories, and they say, you know what, I'm going to do my part. I can do this. And what I hope people will do as they look at that is say, this is my time to reach for Rutgers athletics. This is my time to reach for Rutgers University. And if everybody has that thought, then we'll have more than enough to build all the buildings that we need to build.
That's awesome right there. And I was wondering actually how your relationships have been now with the actual student athletes that are there on campus.
That's the best part of the job. Anytime you can be with the student athletes. I was down briefly at basketball practice this afternoon. I love getting over to football practice. Tomorrow I'll try to send off our women's soccer team. Those are the moments that really enjoy is being with those athletes. And that's why I can't wait till some of these buildings open, because I'll be standing at the door saying, come on in, this is for you.
Well, it's RutgersBig10Build.com, RutgersBig10Build.com. Be a part of it. And, Pat, last year hearing you talk about it, and it was funny, we sat down at one point and you said, I just want it to hurt a little bit. hurt a little bit. But at the same time, when you are considering making a contribution, it's not as if it's all 1 second. You guys make it very easy to do it. You can break it up over some time and really try to make it as workable as possible for people. I think that's something that maybe a lot of people don't know.
I think that's right. They don't know that you can make a pledge that you pay over 5 years. And you can start small and grow that. You can build that pledge any way you want. And folks think, well, what would my $500 a year mean? It's a tremendous amount. And when I say trying to make it hurt a little bit, I think that makes you get skin in the game, as we say, right? You're an investor in Rutgers athletics, and as we go forward, that is going to be so rewarded, and I have confidence in that because what our coaches are doing. You've heard Coach Ash tonight, how hard he's working, how great our kids have responded. The more resources we put to them, and if we all do that, we're invested. And if everyone stays invested in Rutgers athletics, we cannot help but be successful.
And talk about resources, Pat. Can you talk a little bit about your support team that helps you behind the scenes that no one really gets to see? I'm sure they deserve a lot of credit.
It starts with Sarah Baumgartner, who did so much before I arrived to keep folks engaged and thinking about how we could be successful. The entire development team is working really hard. Yesterday was a credit to them. They were all out on the site. I can't say enough about them, and there's folks at Marco Battaglia, right? He was a student athlete here. Rich Knupp was a student athlete. He understands the importance of these facilities and our efforts. So our team is really invested. No one who works with me considers it a job. They consider it a calling. It's a calling for Rutgers University, and for me, it's a calling. That's why I'm here. It's why I enjoy it. It's why I don't mind the schedule, because I don't have enough time. And so your team is incredibly important. What both of you do in talking about Rutgers and your commitment to Rutgers is incredibly important. With your charitable efforts and what you're doing, it's part of who we are as Rutgers University. Chris, you've made a commitment to the Big Ten build as well. So this is what I say about being all in. We can be all in a variety of ways, and as long as we do that, Rutgers University is going to be successful, and we're going to have a very, very bright future.
Love it, Pat. Congratulations. Big day yesterday, but bigger days to come.
Oh, great days to come. Go RU.
Absolutely.
Thank you all.
Hobbs. He is the Director of Athletics at Rutgers University, and Rutgers is committed to building championship contenders in the Big Ten, and this commitment means the university does have to build premier training facilities for elite student athletes from New Jersey, the nation, and across the globe. To achieve this, Rutgers Athletics is embarking on our Big Ten build to raise $100 million for new and upgraded athletic facilities. Be all in, as you just heard from Pat Hobbs. Join our campaign today by visiting RutgersBig10Build.com. We continue from Quaker Steak and Lube in moments here in Edison, the Chris Ash Show, as Rutgers prepares for Indiana this weekend. Stay with us.
Need a place to watch all the pro games? Look no further than Quaker Steak and Lube, Best Wings USA on Route 1 in Edison. 50 TVs, great game day specials starting at just $2, and the best wings in the USA with over 25 different wing sauces. Enjoy our outdoor patio and bar that's open all year round, even in the winter. Give us a call, 732-777-WING. We cater events of any size, dining in or to go. Quaker Steak and Lube, 561 Route 1 in Edison, 732-777-WING.
We have a new player on the field, and he's ready for kickoff with a delicious ice-cold Coca-Cola. And the kick. Ice giving him a little trouble as a few cubes shake loose. He's probably going to pour it here, and he does. The glass is full. Can he go all the way? He did it! Oh, wow! And just listen to that fizz. That might have been the most refreshing thing that I've ever seen. Whew. Coca-Cola. Taste the feeling.
The Chris Ash Show returns after this local timeout. This is the Rutgers IMG Sports Network.
We live in an exciting time for medicine. Breakthroughs happen every day. The higher we raise the bar, the more we push ourselves to jump over it. Welcome to RWJ Barnabas Health. From clinical trials that are making cancer a thing of the past, to mapping the brain and seeing the future of neuroscience. From the latest in heart transplants to planting community gardens, we're enhancing the health and wellness of the millions of people we serve. With more than 41,000 medical professionals, 11 acute care hospitals, 4 children's hospitals, dedicated researchers, and partnerships with medical schools, we're delivering better health together to New Jersey. to Bayonne in Atlantic City, Livingston, Edison and Princeton, urban farms in Newark, family fitness trails at the Jersey Shore, and especially to you. Join us, and working together, your life will be healthier too. RWJ Barnabas Health. Let's be healthy together. Visit rwjbhinfo.org.
Welcome back to the Chris Ash Show. Got a question for Coach? Dial us up on the Nissan call-in line at 877-384-1869. That's 877-384-1869. Nissan, proud partner of college athletics. Shop ChooseNissan.com. Innovation that excites.
We have returned to Quaker Steak and Lube here in Edison, New Jersey on Route 1 for this week's edition of the Chris Ash Show here on 1450 AM WCTC in New Brunswick, and of course every week on RVision on ScarletKnights.com. Chris Carlin, Eric LeGrand, joined now by Rutgers running backs coach Zach Core. Zach, good to have you with us, a native of Jacksonville, Florida, and up here in New Jersey. How are things?
Things are good. I'm glad to be here. My brothers always said I had a face for radio. So
you're on TV now, too. Don't forget, on RVision.
That's better for me.
Well, Zach, first of all, tell us a little bit about, your path to get here to Rutgers and joining Coach Ash and his staff.
It's an interesting story. It's kind of long, so I won't make it too long. I started off coaching high school football early, and after in my playing days were done, and I made it up, to the high school ranks in Jacksonville, Florida, coaching at a young age. Went through the ranks, coached at a small NAIA school, HBCU down in Jacksonville, and kind of went to Ohio State on a whim, asked for an internship, got it, and went from Ohio State up through the ranks with Coach Tressel and Coach Meyer, and then I went down to Old Dominion to coach the running backs, and then after ODU I went to JMU with Coach Withers, and I was with Drew at Ohio State and back at JMU, and then just, how things work in this business, Drew got this gig, and Coach Ash, gratefully asked me to come join him.
That's great. In a short period of time, Coach, it seems like you've been a lot of different places, Coach, a lot of different backs.
Yeah.
What is it like, working with the running back specifically that gets you going?
I love coaching the backs because it's the right amount of swag and skill with physicality. Sometimes you get a lot of skilled players might not be the most physical, but in that position, you have to be physical to play it. So you get a little bit of that swag and skill you like to have, and then the physicality that complements it.
And some of the guys that you have, let's talk about some of your individuals. First of all, he's been a little bit banged up lately, we know, but Robert Martin coming into, when you came in, what did you see from him, and where have you noticed him improve through the course of the offseason and now the regular season?
Yeah, Rob, the one thing that stuck out most about Rob was his passion for the game. He's a very competitive individual, and when he hits this, past that sideline, he hits the field, he's physical, really physical. He enjoys his brothers. He loves playing the game with his brothers. And if I had to say a couple things that he's improved on is the vision with our offense and his pass protection. He's come along, and he wants to get good at it. We had him watch some clips of Ezekiel Elliott and what he's done in the past, and he saw all the blocking, all the stuff he did without the ball, and he wanted to get better at that.
And I was going to bring up next. A lot of people running back, you think just run the ball. When it comes to actually pass blocking and fitting it the right way, it's not always easy for running backs to pick up on. How is that going when you try to teach them different ways, different methods, seeking out blocks and who they got to pick up? How is that going?
Yeah, they never get recruited to block. They always want to run the ball. That's not something that comes natural to them when they first get started.
Exactly.
It's just giving the buy-in to the offense and how that opens up for them. If we protect the quarterback and complete some passes, opens up the run game for us. So, and they're bought into that. And to be honest, sometimes it's really cool to be able to stop a person what they want to do. It's kind of stopping their will. It's pretty cool.
Josh Hicks is a guy that always seems like when he has the ball in his hands, he's always ended up moving forward. And no matter what the scenario, he's at least going to get you some positive yardage.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And we have a special package for Josh that we've started to create over the past couple weeks, and he's embraced it. He loves it. gets him out in space a lot more, which is where he's really good at. And his speed has taken a step up, and he's going to get us a lot of positive yards for the weeks to come.
And can you talk a little bit about now Justin Goodwin? I feel like he's an all-purpose back. This guy, he can run, he can catch, he can block. He just does it all for you.
Oh, Goody is one of the most well-rounded young men I've ever met or coached. And I hope my other guys that I've coached before aren't listening to this. He might be one of the favorite I've ever coached. He's a great kid. He's not afraid of anything. He just wakes up, he grinds. You don't see the facial expression change at all. And he's into he always says he has the best hands on the team. I don't know about that, but his vision, his physicality, his willing to put his face mask on somebody and pass pro, and he can make plays for us with his hands and his feet. He just makes him a well-rounded young man.
Zach, he's a guy that a couple of years ago had some real big success, and last week at Minnesota gets an opportunity with Rob down and injured a little bit. It always seems like whenever he's called upon, he's one of those kids that's ready for the moment no matter what, mentally prepared, physically prepared.
Right, and a lot of that can be a test to Coach Ash and his standard with the program of the next man up. I tell my guys every time, especially in our position, you bang a lot. A lot of guys get nicked up, so every guy has to prepare like he's going to be the starter. And Goody, no matter what his situations, he always has. He's always locked in the game, even when he's not playing. So when he steps in there, he doesn't skip a beat. He's just locked in. He's focused. He knows his job. He prepares like he's the starter every rep, and that's what we do with all our guys. But him especially, he's just a very locked-in kid. He cares about his performance on the field, so he's very invested in it.
And when you have 3 guys that can go in there and get the job done, what is it like trying to keep them from being greedy and being selfish and have to say, all right,
there's only one ball.
This guy gets this drive. What's that like?
There's an art to it. There is, absolutely. You want to keep all the guys happy, but you also want to do what's best for the team. I'll say this. Those young men, when I got in there, they had a pretty good relationship, and I think over the months as I've gotten in there, we've built an even stronger relationship, and they want to see what's best for each other. And we have a number one rule in the running back room, and I feel like I have to set it, is we're going to all want to be the best. We want to be the stars. We want to prepare for it. But we're never going to step on each other to do that.
Yep.
And they understand that. And because of that, all the stuff we've done off the field together, they love each other, and they just want to see what's best for each other.
A guy that we've gotten to see a little bit, Zach, and we're talking with Zach Core, Rutgers running backs coach here on the Chris Ash Show, is Trey Sneed. And somebody that back in the spring, when Coach Ash instituted the removal of the stripe from the helmet and game ready, one of the first guys to get it, and here's a true freshman as one of the first guys to have the stripe removed from his helmet. Tell us about Trey and what you see as his future here.
One of the main reasons why Trey got his stripe removed so early was, he just bought into the culture and from the get-go, and he just strained. Everything we talk about in our program is straining. Everything you do on the field, off the field, drill work, anything, game scenario. He just strained, and he didn't bat an eye at it whatsoever. He's a physical kid. He didn't mind throwing his face in there, and because of that, that's why we removed it. And Trey is coming along fine, and he's got to refine some skill sets that obviously he's got to adjust to the speed of the game. That's always one of the biggest things, as a back coming into it, adjusting to the speed of the game. But he always wants to learn. He always wants to get better. He always, after every play, he asks me, okay, what did I do there? What did I do right? What did I do wrong? What do I need to do to get better? And he's a young man, too, that, we have something in our program called the hunt. Anytime he's got any extra time, he's doing the hunt. He's trying to get better at that.
And what's this week you got the chance to coach the younger guys. Can you talk a little bit, what was that like, getting the younger guys to get Rutgers football into their system and as a scout team?
That stuff's fun, man, because you see the older guys hooting and hollering for them. They're just so stoked for them to get those reps. And those younger guys, they want to learn so bad. They want to get better so bad. So they know when they get these reps, they take advantage of it, and you just see them. They give it their all. They give all their heart. It's just so much fun because they're just, when you look at them as you're coaching them, their eyes don't blink. They just stare at you and just want to take in everything you're giving them.
One or two more, Zach. What's got you the most excited about the future of this program?
Obviously Coach Ash's plan, his vision, his culture. I've been in some programs that are somewhat similar, but he's got an extra edge of just how diligent he works and the organizational, and everything's got a purpose and a reason why. And to be honest, as you see us, through especially the past couple of weeks, we're getting better every week. And it's hard sometimes with initial change, as it is everywhere. and especially with what's coming in here next year and the future to come, and how you can see the players develop physically with Coach Parker. Mentally in the game with all of our. We have a great coaching staff. Everything is getting better, and I'm too stoked. I'm too stoked to see how we finish out this year and how we move into the offseason with all that momentum.
And I always get to ask all the coaches this. What's your time been like in Jersey so far, man?
I'll tell you what, I love Jersey because, I got a brother that lives in Brooklyn.
Okay.
I got another brother that lives in New Haven, Connecticut. So I guess I was meant to be up here, and I like the fast life a little bit. I don't mind it.
Nice.
There's a lot to do. The last place I was at, everything closed about 7 p.m., so it's a lot better here. There's a lot more to do.
Well, Zach, thanks so much for coming down tonight. Best of continued luck in coaching in your career. Thank you.
Thank you guys for having me. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely. Zach Core, Rutgers running backs coach. Coach Ash will rejoin us in a moment. Our Nissan call-in number, 877-384-1869, 877-384-1869. Also, tweet your questions at Rutgers Radio as we continue with the Chris Ash Show.
Take on any galaxy and take on the mission to enter Rogue One, a Star Wars story, Nissan's Ultimate Access Sweepstakes. You can win a VIP trip for two to see the opening showing at El Capitan Theater in Hollywood. Enter at nissanusa.com/Star Wars Rogue One and visit your local Nissan dealer to see the new 2017 Rogue. Nissan, innovation that excites. No purchase necessary. Ends 11/27/16. Open to residents of the USDC 18 and older. For full details, including odds of winning and limitations on entry and prize, see official rules at nissanusa.com/Star Wars Rogue One.
Need a place to watch all the pro games? Look no further than Quaker Steak and Lube. Best Wings USA on Route 1 in Edison. 50 TVs, great game day specials starting at just $2, and the best wings in the USA with over 25 different wing sauces. Enjoy our outdoor patio and bar that's open all year round, even in the winter. Give us a call, 732-777-WING. We cater events of any size, dining in or to go. Quaker Steak and Lube, 561 Route 1 in Edison, 732-777-WING.
The Chris Ash Show returns after this local timeout. This is the Rutgers IMG Sports Network.
This commercial is brought to you by Brother International, the makers of fax printers, multifunction printers, scanners, sewing and embroidery machines. Brother is always at your side.
You can make business cards with your name, print from hiking, hang and frame, sew some shades, block the sun, keep out creepy peeping toms. With Brother at your side, always good times. You got a brother at your side, and whatever follows always ends up in good times. You can make a basket cover for your cat, another for his brother, so they both match. No more mess, make the best label, all relieve that stress. Brothers always undercover and always around. 106 years, better keep on counting. You got a brother at your side, and whatever follows always ends up in good time. With a brother at your side, with a brother at your side.
The Chris Ash Show continues on the Rutgers IMG Sports Network. Now back to Quaker Steak and Lube in Edison to talk Rutgers football. Here's Chris Carlin.
Back with Rutgers head coach Chris Ash. Rutgers in Indiana this Saturday, 12 noon kick at High Point Solution Stadium. Make sure you are in attendance. This is Scarlet Knights take on Kevin Wilson and the Indiana Hoosiers. We'll talk about them in just a minute. Couple of questions from Twitter. First of all, this came out just a little while ago, discussions from the Big Ten about potentially adding Friday night games. So Margaret asking, Coach, how do you feel about Friday night games potentially being added to the schedule? Now, this just came out, so not sure what you can say about it.
It just came out. I can say this, that I really respect Friday night high school football, and especially in this state. There's tremendous coaches, tremendous players, and got a lot of respect for what they do, and I think Friday night is a special night in this state. We have not had a chance as a university or athletic department to discuss the conference's decision to move forward with Friday night games. But it's a decision that they made. We'll see how it plays out, but I do respect Friday night football for high school coaches and players and fans.
Coach, a couple of the other questions we got from Twitter, and this is a little bit more of a fun one for you. This is from Maggie. Coach, How many kids and what did they dress up as for Halloween?
How many kids for me?
Yes. How many kids do you have for folks who don't know?
I've got 3 kids.
Yep.
Honestly, only one of them dressed up, and that was the youngest.
Okay.
Our 1-year-old dressed up as Maverick from Top Gun.
Glasses and all?
No glass. He had glasses. He broke them. Yeah, he dressed up as Maverick. My son, who's a freshman in high school, was too cool to dress up.
Of course.
He did go to a Halloween party with no costume, and he said, well, the girls do that, but the boys don't. So he didn't. My daughter and son are at that age.
Gotcha.
That's funny, man.
So let's talk a little bit more about Indiana. You were touching on them earlier. They have at different times, including their last game, actually employed 3 different quarterbacks, one of whom was a running back. So let's talk a little bit about that. First of all, a guy that's been around for a few years, Xander Diamant, is the backup to Lego. And then also Nati, I believe, was the running back's name, who they used at quarterback. So Kevin Wilson, not shy about mixing it up, certainly.
No, not at all, and it was very productive for them. It obviously caught Maryland off guard a little bit. Just reading through Kevin's comments, he felt like they needed a spark on offense, and that's something they've been working on, and they implemented it last Saturday. And at the end of the game, the final result was 414 yards rushing, so I say it worked well. But it does present some challenges defensively. You really have to be aware of who's back there and the different types of plays that they like to run based on the quarterback. And, we really have to be aware of that and make sure we're communicating and make sure our calls reflect that.
And can you talk about what it's going to be like swarming to the ball and get multiple guys on this running back, especially a guy 260 pounds carrying the ball? It's just going to be sometimes tough to get one guy, to bring him down. Can you talk about the swarm of the defense and you have to have multiple guys getting to the ball and be able to make it in the tackle?
Kind of reminded me of maybe Eric LeGrand at running back.
Hey, I played running back in my day, Coach.
Yes,
in high school.
That's what I mean. It kind of reminded me of a big physical guy like that. But, yeah, you're exactly right. Whenever you're going to face whether it's a quarterback or a running back, that's his size. He's 260 pounds. Back when I was at Wisconsin years ago, we had a running back named John Clay that was about 260 pounds, and he was a physical presence. But it does take a lot of guys to bring him down. Typically, one defender is not going to do it, and it is about pursuit and gang tackling to be able to effectively tackle a guy like that and limit the yards after contact.
You touched on the improvement of their defense. The numbers certainly indicate that as well. I think they're giving up something in the neighborhood of 100 less yards per game. But what have you noticed is the biggest improvement for them?
I look at the defensive line. We feel the same way. If you're going to play good defense, it starts up front. And I look at their 2 inside guys. They're big, they're physical, they're hard to move out of there. And they've done a nice job against the run. They've really improved in that area. I think just overall, schematically, they have an identity. They know who they are. They're consistent with it. It's not changing from week to week. And that helps in player development also. And they just continue to get better as the season's gone on. But it really starts up front with those 2 inside guys, and I got a lot of respect for them. They're big and they're physical, and they've done a nice job controlling the line of scrimmage inside.
All right, we'll take one more timeout, finish up with the coach in just a few more moments. We will tackle some more on Indiana this week. Stay with us. You're listening to The Chris Ash Show.
Need a place to watch all the pro games? Look no further than Quaker Steak and Lube, Best Wings USA on Route 1 in Edison. 50 TVs, great game day specials starting at just $2, and the best wings in the USA with over 25 different wing sauces. Enjoy our outdoor patio and bar that's open all year round, even in the winter. Give us a call, 732-777-WING. We cater events of any size, dining in or to go. Quaker Steak and Lube, 561 Route 1 in Edison, 732-777-WING.
When you're looking for tickets to that sold-out event, there's only one place to go. TickCity.com, the official secondary ticket partner of Rutgers Athletics. Scarlet Knight fans can save 10% on all orders when you use the discount code Rutgers at checkout. From sporting events to the hottest concerts, Broadway and family shows across the country, all your ticket needs are covered at your fan-friendly ticket source. TickCity.com. That's TickCity.com.
The Chris Ash Show returns after this local timeout. This is the Rutgers IMG Sports Network.
Train smart, play hard. The Scarlet Knights know what it takes to win on the field and off. so they work harder with the help of the high-quality protein of Dual Fuel. Developed in partnership with Rutgers strength and conditioning coaches, Dual Fuel performance bars and shakes provide elite athletes with the fuel they need to power through the toughest workouts. Give your body what it needs to take on the competition with Dual Fuel. Dual Fuel bars and shakes, an official nutrition partner of Rutgers Athletics. Available at campus retailers or at rutgers.dualfuelnutrition.com.
You're a sports fan.
That's me.
A fan who traded in a smartphone and bought a new one on AT&T Next.
Yep.
And with the money you saved, now you can make that reality show about your fantasy team.
Okay, so I got an idea.
Right. Sports fans, get up to $650 in credits per line when you switch to AT&T. Trade in your current phone and buy a new one on AT&T Next. AT&T. Mobilizing your world.
Limited time offer. Each line requires eligible port-in, trade-in, purchase, and service. Get minimum of $5 trade-in credit plus prepaid card on amount of device balance or early termination fee. Less trade-in fees, charges, and restrictions apply. See store for details.
We have returned to Quaker Steak and Lube on Route 1 in Edison for the Chris Ash Show. It's Rutgers and Indiana this coming Saturday, 12 noon at High Point Solution Stadium. Coach, one guy that certainly had a very nice game against Indiana, Andre Patton at the receiver spot. He's somebody that certainly has the ability, we know, and got a good chance to see it in that game against Minnesota.
Absolutely. I really think the last 2 weeks, Andre Patton has gotten healthy. He's gotten more confident. Has learned the offense more and more each week, and especially last game against Minnesota, I think we saw the Andre Patton that we've been wanting to see this year. He's kind of gotten out of his funk and gained some confidence. Obviously helps, when we're distributing the ball to a lot of different receivers, and the success that Gio had. But Andre did an outstanding job in the pass game, ran some good routes, big catches, made some good yards after catches also.
You talk about special teams, Coach. Your field goal kicker goes out there under pressure, kicks a 40-yarder through and gives him some confidence. You talk a little bit about the special teams play in that game.
There was good and bad.
Yeah.
It started the bad. I'll go there first. We missed an extra point after a pick six, and then we gave up a kickoff return for a touchdown. And again, you talk about the plays that happen in the course of a game that prevent you from winning. Those are those types of plays. But I'll give David a lot of credit. He bounced back, and we needed a go-ahead field goal there at the end. It wasn't pretty, but it went through the uprights, and that's all that counts. And that was a big kick for us, and we needed that.
Coach, you are currently 7th in the country in pass defense, and you have two guys. We've talked about them a couple of times positively this year, but they probably deserve some more recognition, and that is Blesson Austin and Isaiah Wharton, your two starting corners who have done a terrific job this season.
Really happy for those two individuals. Actually, happy for the whole secondary. Anthony Chaffee is another one. He's actually here tonight. And I'm not saying that's just because he's here, but those three guys that played a lot last year, it wasn't pretty for them last year. Isaiah and Bless were young guys thrown into action and probably weren't ready for it. And they're a lot better today because of what they experienced last year. And they're playing at a very high level. They're very confident. And I think they're one of the strongest units on our football team right now.
And I was going to ask you, being the strongest unit, how confident are you now with even those younger guys like a KJ Gray going in there and getting a job on Damon Hayes? They got thrown into the fire earlier now. Can you say third left of the season, are you just confident throwing those guys in there to play and getting the job done?
Yeah, Damon Hayes has done an outstanding job every time he goes in. KJ Gray keeps getting better for young guys. And hopefully, just like Isaiah and Bless, those are two young guys that are getting opportunities to play, getting some reps, getting game experience, that through player development and another year of physical development, that they'll be able to be big-time players more consistently for us also. But I like the development of the young players in the secondary all the way around, and we need to continue to do that. And I think we've got some young, talented DBs we have recruited that are committed to us that will come in and help the group even more next year.
Well, Coach, we will see you on Saturday, Rutgers in Indiana, 12 noon, High Point Solution Stadium.
Looking forward to it. Ready to get back out on the field.
Absolutely.
Good luck, Coach.
Thank you.
Want to thank our crew, getting it done as usual. Paul Schrager, our producer and engineer, along with Colin Osborne, Jimmy Gill, and Hasim Phillips from the Rutgers Sports Information Department, Eric LeGrand as well. Again, 12 noon kick at High Point Solution Stadium Saturday. It's Rutgers in Indiana. We'll see you then.
You've been listening to The Chris Ash Show on the Rutgers IMG Sports Network. The Chris Ash Show has been brought to you by Join us throughout the season from Quaker Steak and Lube on US 1 in Edison to hear from the head football coach of the Scarlet Knights. The Chris Ash Show is an exclusive presentation of IMG, America's home for college sports.